This week's project takes us on an adventure on the high seas.
Life on the open seas.
Oh man, who let this guy in? I've seen a few pirate chest videos and I really wanted to give it a go.
There be treasure.
Easy guy, this is just a make-believe treasure chest. Anyway, off to the plank, the scrap wood plank.
Arr, ha, ha.
Sheesh. I started by planing some old fence pickets down a half inch. I totally forgot to capture this on video, so I'm using an old video clip. Sue me! I ripped these to 1 inch and 1 3/8 inch and way more than I would need. With the exception of the bottom and some banding, these would be the major part of the builds. Considering I had never made a pirate chest, I thought it would be a good idea to have a lot of leftovers. Next, I chopped these down at the chop saw. As these are major components, I can cut them all out at the same time. I set up a stop block at different sizes and cut multiple down. I made some design decisions down the line that better fit the proportions I was looking for, so if you notice the differences in the video, don't worry about it, the cut list is accurate. Next thing I did was take 9 of the 11-inch pieces which will make up the top and cut a 5-degree angle in each on both sides. I set the table saw to 5 degrees and carefully cut each one. These will be opposing angles, kind of like cutting a 45-degree angle for a frame. Next, I laid them all out, and this is one of those design updates. I decided on 11 inches for the length, so I taped them off, marked my line, and then took them to the table saw to cut them down. I then flipped it over, applied glue, and using tape brought them all together and clamped them with tape. I missed a step here and forgot to check the overall width of it before letting it dry, which meant it wasn't completely square. So best to make that check on this step by measuring the bottom width and making sure it matches on both ends. Then Thriller was on, so time for a little dance break. I'm not ready for Dancing with the Stars. Okay, enough dance break, time to get back to work. Over at the router table, I ran a through dado to accommodate the 1/4 inch ply bottom. This will be on one of the front and back and 2 sides. Then a little air broom. I don't know. It was a music driven kind of day. Anywho, it was time to start building. So I glued up the front and back panels, and you might notice, hey, there are 4 of them and not like 3 in the pic. You would be correct. This is another one of those design decisions. When I put it all together, the proportions were way off, so I decided to cut one off. I split in the bottom, and with some glue and brad nails, I put it all together. While that dries, it was time to turn my attention back to the top. I traced the sides out on some leftover 3/4 inch poplar ply and cut it out using the jigsaw. I then sanded, taking my time to sneak up on the final fit, and attached the sides to the top with some glue and brad nails. I then held it together with some clamps, snug as a bug, till it dried. After a little light sanding, it was time to start putting it together. This is when that issue I explained earlier of not checking for square on the top came out to play. I tried hard to adjust it and make it work, but it was really just not there. So I mulled it over considerably and decided to charge on anyway and do my best trying with some sanding and adjusting of the hinges. These are door hinges, not the best, but gave me the most support and freedom to adjust for the wonky top. So I went with it. It's supposed to look aged, right? So it isn't supposed to be all wonky? That's what I keep telling myself. After that debacle, it was time to give some thought to finish. I had some of this edge banding hanging around, and I thought it was perfect for the illusion of leather straps. If you're unfamiliar with what edge banding is, it's a very thin piece of hardwood that is activated glue on one side. It is used mostly on plywood to give the illusion of hardwood and hide that unsightly plywood edge. So I ripped out the iron and went to placing it. Weird to see a woodworker with an iron, huh? I decided on 3 straps that ran top to bottom and one on either side. The raw edge of the top would simply be painted black to look like the edging was folded over. With that done, it was time to consider finishing. I decided to set it on fire. Literally, set it on fire. Burning the whole piece, then running a metal brush over it would give the distressed aged look that I wanted. I sadly had to do this outside, as doing it in my shop just kept setting off smoke detectors. I didn't have a camera out there, but trust me, it was a lot of fun. Next, I painted all the banding, and it was pretty much like watching paint dry. Truthfully, I forgot to hit record on the GoPro. Next, I decided to add a little decorative flair to the banding. I wanted it to look extra aged and worn out, and luckily, I have an airbrush, which comes in mighty convenient. After that, I decided to add felt to all the inside edges. And yes, I'm cutting out the back of a rice box. Long story short, I saw someone on YouTube do this trick, and I remember thinking, that's just crazy. Why don't you just glue it directly on? Right before this video, I tried that and I just ended up felting myself, my fingers, the bench, the dog. Well, not the dog. So apparently this fellow was onto something. So I went raiding the recycling bin and found some boxes with thin enough cardboard to use for this. And I can't say it wasn't the right call. It was way easier. He's a wise man. After liberally applying some spray glue, I was able to felt the entire inside and top. Lastly, it was time for all the good pirate-like detail. I picked up some really nice decorative thumbtacks, some cool little hook latches, and some corner pieces. This part was a little tedious, but the extra attention really pays off in the end. If you look close, you can still see the black felt glued to my hands. And that was it. But what's a good pirate themed project without a video montage?
Yo ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
That's it for this pirate booty adventure. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give me a like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next adventure. Go make something.